Boom! Hi, I'm Thundercloud here in Gyra on this absolutely beautiful winter's day, here in front of Burgess Garage, opposite the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame in Gyra. Might be 12 degrees, but it's sunny, and I thought I'd catch a few rays and read this out of this new book, The Old School, by Nan Grills, a Gyra local, and other poems, The Old School and Other Poems. This was published in 1994. And I'm going to read from the back of the book today, Nan Grills' poems about nature. Okay, here we go. First one. The Cockatoo. He came home in the pocket of a greatcoat, found trembling and cold after the storm had smote. His master was old, with a soft spot for orphans and strays, still suffering the sadness of grief and loss. The bird cheered his lonely days. Cocky was too young to fly. Without some tender loving care he would have been doomed to die. Soon their friendship ripened, the bond of mateship was there. The old one gave him freedom, and he joined his kindred wild and returned to the warmth and love of home like an obedient child. The years passed and Cocky learned to talk. This was good. It seemed the bird was almost human. He understood. Cockatoos live to a ripe old age, and when the old one's life came to a timely end, it was a broken-hearted cockatoo who mourned his faithful friend. Finally, he left. Sometimes he returns and the neighbours know he's back. He perches on the cottage gate, calling out for Jack. He's reverted to the wild, a special bird who once brightened an old man's life. That's the cockatoo. Next one, the bird that sings. The wondrous things of life are here, I see them every day. A bird that sings. He uses wings to hurtle through the air. On high tree tops he quietly stops the sighing wind to hear. As I watch, he takes his leave and circles high, a graceful, clever acrobat performing in the sky. Yeah, that bird that sings. Next one, words. Words paint pictures of all sorts of things. Action is one with movement and strength combined. It brings to mind colourful characters with ambition and drive. Vividly they come alive. Lazy presents a picture flat and dull, lacking movement. It falls short of being best. Calm has soothing effect, quite efficient, peaceful and quiet, gently proclaiming the world is all right. We also have beauty, love, fun and games, good words with happy names. That's Words by Nan Grills from The Old School and Other Poems. Oh, here we go. This one's called Werewolves. This is the hour when the werewolves howl and stealthily the tigers prowl. The hearts of villains filled with hate turn inward with evil intent to contemplate their wicked deeds for mankind meant in shadows deep, the places where robbers and plunderers meet. The turbulent east wind blows where lost souls try to find repose. It is the time when Satan seeks to reign and fill the earth with sin and pain. With evil smile, wicked guile, he tests his power and pits his strengths against the powers of goodness. The next one, that's called Werewolves. The next one's called Banjo, and it's a tribute to Banjo Patterson. When Banjo Patterson wrote his ballads, he wrote them well. I wish I were endowed with his skill. He painted pictures with his pen, the characters portrayed so vividly they came to life. His poetry was destined to earn him a place in Australian literature. With the advent of television, the pictures are commercially produced, thus sparing us the effort of imagination. Narration is no longer confined to the amateur or the bush poet, but we do have the advantage of enjoying his work through both mediums. And Banjo Patterson. And that's what brought me here to Gyra. Went down to Orange to the Banjo Patterson Australian Poetry Festival and Competition, and on the way back through, I was passing through Gyra, and look what I found. This magnificent building over there, which is now the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame, celebrating the wonderful poets like Banjo Patterson, Nan Grills from Gyra, other people like Drew Newknuckle, Lionel Fogarty, Kev Carmody, a whole bunch of wonderful poets and song people that we've produced here in Australia. Next one, the tree. The forest giant is dead, its foliage gone and bark shed. It stands stately beauty glistening in the frost of a winter's night, a stark white form bathed in moonlight. In life its strength had stood the test, now its majesty, its towers above the rest. Its passing gives no cause for misery or gloom, no need for burial or tomb. The birds nest in hollow limbs and sing in joyful harmony, or pause in flight with outstretched wings atop the grand old tree, whilst far below its seeds to saplings grow, a reminder that nature's way it shared the fate of all its kind, and in trust did not betray. Its ghostly monument will remain until the time of wind and rain will crash to earth and be no more than wood upon the forest floor. Finally consumed by fire, ashes lay where hunters stalk and wild deer play. Next one, storms. Shattering peace, the warning comes. Wild wind whip the waves up high. The roaring noise fills the sky. To the last slashing of rain and clang of hail, the waves crash on rocky shore, leaving behind a foaming trail. Blue streaks light the inky sky, and thunder claps with resounding might, reaching a climax when power meets defeat. The rain tumbles down with a renewed force, filling the gutters and awash on the street. At last the moon peeps out, shedding the light on the scene, and silence descends where havoc has been. Soon dawn will break, and the world will awake to a morning fresh and bright, dispelling the fears of a dark, stormy night. Whilst out on the pasture and woodlands beyond the animals' shelter, they will soon move camp to race helter-skelter. Where new grass is growing, it is God's way of showing how nature provides food for the creatures he wants to survive. Rain. Over the hills and the valleys the grey clouds drew veil, blotting out the landmarks behind the old fire trail. I prayed with deeper fervour that I had prayed before, that the promising signs would reward the land with a long and steady downpour. To hear the dripping of water from the eaves would be sweeter than a serenade of love. To sound all were waiting to hear coming from above. The water holes were stagnant, the grass long dead and dry after months of waiting. There were rain clouds in the sky. Never had we tasted the bitterness of despair, but knew as our neighbours that all the signs were there. One careless match dropped without intent, and all the countryside would rage hell-bent. A conflagration of destruction, leaving desolation in its path with suffering and loss in its aftermath. I waited leaning on the stone wall and watched the muddy water ripple as the drops began to fall. Tears filled my eyes and coursed unheeded down to mingle with the raindrops on the dusty ground. That's Rain by Nan Grills here in the old school and other poems. And I guess if it wasn't for the bushfires, I would never have come here to Gyra, because on the 15th of January, my dad gave me a call and he said, "James, how are we going to get kids to read books, and how can we help the koalas?" Well, I said, "Dad, I can write a book about that. We can raise money for that. And and the money from the book can go to plant forest corridors. And so off I went to Orange, the Banjo Patterson poetry competition, to deliver Happy Harry Koala, and on the way back, here I was in Guyra, and I found this empty theatre, the Arcadian, and it's now the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame. Alright, one more from Nan Grills. April Rain. It's a grey day, not here. It's a grey day, a rainy day, the day I don't admire. The very thing I need is a cheerful fire. I'm sitting by the window writing to a friend and wishing that the rain will soon end. The mist has dropped a curtain between me and the hills, and the concrete drain gurgles as it fills. A solitary magpie flaps into view, pauses for a while, and then away he flew. I wonder how he fills time when he hasn't much to do but bedraggled palm frond sway. But all the wind is silent on this soggy April day. And that's the last one from Nan Grills' book, The Old School and Other Poems. I'm Thundercloud here in front of the Australian Poetry Hall of Fame in Guyra, and I'll be reading to you some more later on. See you later.